I just wanted to speak on a topic. Uh, that you know, I'm sure it's cliche, but it's been bothering me. The topic of how, uh, the other groups, non-FBA, even non-blacks, they seem to think that black people can't work together. Like we don't band together as a team. We don't, have some type of system where we believe in each other. And I disagree. I'm sure a lot of people would disagree, that's in the community. We definitely do look out for each other. We definitely do band together. There is black unity. You know, it just needs to be pushed more. It just needs to be pushed more. It needs to be, the actual truth narrative. Change the narrative of that we don't work together. We don't have no such type of unity. Banding together, or, coming together for progress or what have you. All that is false. But all I'm saying is like we should be pushing pushing the narrative that we do work as a team, and we are promoting to even work as a team even more. You know what I mean? We should be promoting more teamwork, promoting more unity. Putting the differences aside. As far as when I say put differences aside, I'm not saying don't acknowledge the differences. Just put the pride to the side of how we approach each other's differences. So, like how my title says, teamwork versus dream work. Like I look at it, you know, pretty self-explanatory. Teamwork is when you have the equation of somebody might have a skill, or and you have a skill, and in order for you know y'all to come together, you actually have to respect each other's craft and skill. You know what I'm saying? What they bring to the table in order to benefit the greater goal. You know what I'm saying? In order to benefit the greater goal, complement the greater goal. You know what I'm saying? But when I say teamwork, like for example, like what I was just speaking about, is that it's some narrative that black people don't come together. We don't, have unified, and we do come together in order to promote uh, the narrative of more unity, more teamwork, more coming together. Uh, we got to put aside like the little, I call them, little nothings. You know what I'm saying? Little, there's little distractions, like the little, wrinkles, the issues, the problems that could arise when it comes to perhaps, like I'll use the example, say I'm in business and I want to go in business. I would like to link up with another brother and, expand, based off of what he got going on. He got a business packing too, and I would like to, you know, expand, you know what I mean? Expand by, offering the brother, you know, uh, 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 you know what I'm saying? Like a partnership, like to build even bigger, for the both, for more than just us two, of course, because when you have a business, you're taking care of others as well. So it's like, uh, so back to what I was saying, like when you have that equation, you often run into like trust. And I'll be the first to tell you that I don't believe in trust. I don't believe in trust, like trusting a man or trusting a woman, or I don't believe in the trust. know what I mean? First and foremost, I trust my God. I trust the Most High. I don't trust no man or a woman, and that shouldn't be taken as a slander. That shouldn't be taken as a you know offensive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just important to get those things out the way. You know, like that's fairy tale shit. You know what I mean? That's dream shit. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And once you know accept that, you can move forward and you know move with integrity. You'll actually have things out on the table. Or like for another example is as far as business to me, I don't move for the dollar. The dollar, I'm not driven off of the dollar. You know, money will come. You know, you align everything else up in alignment with what you stand for. You know what I'm saying? Your principles, your morals. When you line everything up, the money will come. You know what I mean? Along with everything else, right? Like the pieces in order to get it done. You know, everything else just aligns up. It's like having your own set of rules and laws that you follow. And you know what I'm saying? With that said, you know the money will come. You know what I mean? But what I was getting at as far as like say when people run into the issue of doing business with or wanting to do some type of partnership with their people, you know, whether it be family, friends, you know, some colleagues, somebody close to you, you know, trust should not be a something that destroys it, breaks it up. You know, you got to understand that trust. There is no trust. Your trust is you know your values. You know, trust is your values. You know what's important to you. Like basically, what should be important to you coming into business with somebody is what you bring to the table. What is your strengths? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your strengths? You know, your values. Your values is the bond. You know what I mean? Your word is your bond, and you stand by your word, right? You stand by your craft. You know what I'm saying? And that should be the bond. Like the money shouldn't be what you know is the motivation. If you get what I'm saying, it shouldn't be the thing that drives you guys in order to do proper business. Like it should not be that. Once again, that's fairy tale shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like when people think that going into business, or they always think they have the next big thing. You know what I'm saying? That's fairy tale shit. Like they think that it's like never been done, never been said, never been created, and that's not how it goes. You know, that's not how it goes. But yeah, like your what you bring to the table is the bond, is the trust. You know what I'm saying? Like you should look at it like that. Like, oh man, I stand by what I perfect in. I stand by my passion. I stand by what I stand for. You know what I mean? And so when you go to approach, a brother or a sister, or a sister with another sister, like when you do these partnerships, when you do these partnerships, and this even goes with, you can link this what I'm saying even outside of business, just the man and his woman, and husband and wife, like when you dealing with this type of transaction, uh, you moving, you really gotta have in mind, you really gotta have in mind of a greater purpose than just you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it as on a team level. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it from a team perspective. You know, like once you start to look at it from a team perspective, a lot of the emotions which they're gonna come and go. You get what I'm saying? Like you human, like of course it's gonna happen. But a lot of those things, a lot of the distractions, like I said, won't be able to, tear you apart, tear down what you got going. Once again, that if you think what I'm saying, if you disagree with what I'm saying, like that's fairy tale way of thinking. Like thinking no issues will come. Oh man, I'm in business with my wife. I'm not even just business. Like oh, this should have never, you know, uh, we'll never break up or the business or whatever. It'll never fail or whatever. Like I'm going into business with my we've been friends 30 years and shit like that. Like none of that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like none of that matters. None of that matters. In a way, most of what I'm saying is it's definitely bigger than just this journey that we doing on this earth. Shit, I could say that. Like I look at it from a very different standpoint, higher standpoint. I'm sure a lot of people would understand. I look at it like as a unit, like you know, like you know what I mean. I'm a follicle to this unit thing that's going on. And you should look at yourself like that as well. Like we just you know what I'm saying, a morsel to the big picture. So it's like doing things as a collective is seeming like the only way because obviously the separate shit. And I ain't talking about collectives like when it comes to different ethnic groups and different races. Everybody do their own thing as it is. You get what I'm saying? We got to concentrate on doing things with self first, and then once self is all intact, that's when you do commerce with the outside communities. You know what I'm saying? That's when you do trade with the outside community. And in between, like you gotta understand, it ain't even gotta be no friction with no outside communities, cause you still gonna do, you know what I mean, little deals here and there in between. But I'm talking about as a big picture, like the objective, you know what I mean. The goal should be to bring the money home. You know what I mean? Bring whatever it is that benefits your community. You should bring it home. You know what I mean? Like bring it home. You know what I mean? Do whatever it is that you need to do to keep it in house. You get what I'm saying? Like keep it home. Like you don't have to. Like I said, it ain't gotta be. You ain't gotta be coming from no violence or no anti them. Because that's really what it be a lot. Like as far as when you're dealing with outsiders, people think that it's like hate, and it's like, nah, man, I just love my people. I love, you know what I mean? Like it ain't no anti you. We ain't even worrying about you. Yeah, I'll do business with you. Just business though. Like meaning, righteous business. Like we ain't gonna do none of that dirty backhand shit that y'all about. You get what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do none of that. We ain't gonna do none of that. But as far as teamwork, it just needs to be pushed more. It needs to be pushed more. Like as far like I say, I don't believe in trust. But when I use the word trust, I'm using it as like shit. Your word is your bond. What you value, your values is your bond. Your craft, you know what I mean. What your purpose is. Tap into your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I look at as the connection, you know what I mean, the direct connection that should, you know what I'm saying, be more promoted within each other, whether it be, two black men, two black women, you know what I mean, black man, black woman, black man, I would have you, like it should be more promoted on some uh, togetherness even more than what we already are. You just got to keep tapping into that though, keep going up and up, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody got something to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? And when that's on the dream work side of the game. But when I say, I mean that's on the teamwork side of the game. But when I say dream work, man, is stop acting like, you know what I mean. Stop acting like you don't see what's going on. Like stop acting like you don't, understand what's going on. Like that, yeah, that way of thinking is ancient. You know what I'm saying? That way of thinking is foreign. You know, or here's another side of the dream work side of the game. Uh, just being dependent on the bigger machine, being dependent on the government and these different institutions that your people didn't create. You know what I'm saying? Your people didn't create, and if we did create them, you know what I mean, they end up getting co-opted and then bled out. You know, to where it doesn't even represent for us. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So for you to like still be dependent on it or supporting it or whatever, like man, that's just, you know what I mean? Like it's dead weight. You know what I'm saying? That's dreaming and shit. Dreaming of a, hope in the creed. You know what I'm saying? Hope in the creed. You on that hope creed? Yeah, hope creed that one day this group or this whatever party would do this for me or whatever. That's dream work, man. I'd rather promote teamwork over dream work. You know what I mean? I'd rather promote teamwork over dream work any day. You know, cause doing this every man for themselves, doing this every man for ourselves shit. You know what I mean? It definitely ain't the move. Just like the narrative of men men are. I think right now they just said men as a whole. This is all races. I read an article. They said that a lot of men in their 30s and 40s and what have you and older, even older, 60s and shit, are happy that they don't have kids or a wife. They're saying that they live a stress free life, and they live better than ever or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds cool. And you know what I mean? It's one of those sounds good things. Whenever I hear somebody say sounds good, that's what I immediately think. Like it's like, yeah, okay, but yeah, in reality, that's not true. That's not true. Meaning, what I'm saying is, what they're saying is, oh, they're living a peace life and they are happy they don't have a family and all that. You know what I mean? They didn't have no babies and all that. That's false. Like they definitely, when they see a man with his family, his wife and kids and shit like that, notice they be the main ones that have a lot to say about motherfuckers that do have it. That's the culture as it is with a lot of shit. People that have never even been in those shoes have a lot to say. The people from the outside looking in always have the most to say. You know what I'm saying? But little do you know, also that's coming from a spirit, from a space of envy. Like, you know what I mean? It's coming from a space of they wish they had what you had. You understand? Like on some real shit. Like they're lacking that. Like, and then they're convincing themselves like, oh, I'm better off without it. When actually that's a problem to them. That's actually you know what I mean? Like they done convinced themselves like that it ain't even, you know, to their detriment, but that's not true. That's not even the natural order. Man's supposed to have a wife. Man's supposed to have a woman and kids. You see what I'm saying? And the vice versa. You know what I mean? The wife is supposed to have a husband and kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff right there that is going around the internet or circulating in this world, that it's cool to be, you know, single and without a wife, without a husband, without kids and shit. Yeah, that's gonna be your demise. That's gonna be the earth's demise with shit like that. You know what I mean? Just that thinking is not logical. You know what I mean? That's not logical. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of money. Just look at it like this. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of money, but what the fuck you need all that money for if you ain't even got no family? You know what I mean? You're gonna be having all that money, you got a big ass house, all kind of shit, right? But what does all that matter if you ain't gonna have no family? That's why you see what's big nowadays in this society is that, you got a lot of single men dating single moms with kids, or vice versa, or both. You know what I mean? Both of them single, and it's just a lot of just recycling. Motherfuckers is just in one big ass cesspool. Because they ain't willing to stick it out. You know what I mean? They ain't willing to, do what's natural. You know what I'm saying? Do what's natural and live as a team. Make the team work. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that crazy? All this other shit is just dream work. Like, what the fuck is what is you expecting to happen? What is you expecting to happen? You know what I mean? That comes from that free thinking campaign as well. The whole the whole thing that they done groomed the society up into thinking that free thinking is the way to go. It's like, no, I rather trust in my creator, man. I rather tap into what works instead of dreaming, instead of coming up with some dream and shit. But yeah, anyway, teamwork versus dream work. What you think? Peace.